All right, what's going on, guys? Robby here. Hope you're doing fantastic, and welcome to today's workshop. Really excited to have you guys here. We're going to start in just a moment, so let me know in the chat if you can hear me just fine, and if you guys are excited about today's workshop. All right, cool. Yes, people popping in, which is great. And guys, I'm really excited to be here today because we got something that is pretty unique, and I'm excited to share this with you guys today. So as you guys are popping in here, just go ahead and let me know in the chat if you guys are ready to rock and roll. Perfect. All right, so what I'm about to tell you might sound a little strange at first, but guys, stick with me because this could be the single most important training you attend this year. Right now, there's a hidden economy beneath the surface of the internet, a quiet financial revolution where money moves every second of every day, creating new millionaires, and almost nobody knows about it. And the rules are different here, right? The usual grind of starting a business is not needed. Selling to people who don't want to buy, well, forget about it. Posting content, chasing leads, and working endless hours is not in this game. What you're about to discover is truly different. If you ever wished you could get paid over and over again for work you only do once without selling, without clients, without grinding away on social media, then pay close attention. In just a moment, I'm going to introduce you to someone who has cracked the code when it comes to what he calls the invisible income, a way to collect royalties from digital transactions that are happening every single day while he sleeps. And here's the crazy part. He doesn't create products. He doesn't sell anything. He doesn't chase clients. Instead, he figured out a way to position himself in the middle of a $185 billion industry that is helping people have success online, right? So let me ask this, guys. What would your life be like if you get paid every month without having to slave away for it? What if you wake up, check your phone, and see new royalties pouring in every day? What if instead of trading hours for dollars, you find a system that actually makes money for you? But I want to be clear, guys, this is not for everybody, okay? This is because most people are not going to do anything with this, honestly. Most people will dismiss it because they've been conditioned to believe that money is hard to make. Well, most people will stay trapped in a cycle of trading hours for dollars while others quietly collect passive royalty income. But you're not most people. Of course not. You guys are here on this training, or you wouldn't be here, like I said. So do yourself a favor, put your phone on silent, close your browser, listen up, because you're about to hear something that will change the way you think about making money forever. And with that being said, let's give a massive warm welcome to my good friend Igor, the man who figured out how to make money without selling, how to profit without creating, and how to collect royalties while others hustle for one-time paychecks. Igor, are you there? All right, go ahead and take it away.
Thank you for having me today, and I'm excited, and I believe you made one of the wise decisions this year to attend this training, because in the next 60 minutes, I'm going to share with you how I earn $352,969.26 in royalty-driven income with something that I call e-brokering. You're going to discover how to use the hidden e-brokering online business model to tap into multiple streams of income, of royalty-driven income from home and without previous experience. If you're excited, give me a 1 in the chat to let me know that this is what we're here for. This is why you're here. This is what you came here to learn, because this can be life-changing for those of you who take action on it, because it certainly is and was life-changing for me when I stumbled into this hidden online business model. Now, let me just start by saying that world's wealthiest people earn massive royalties. And this is not news. I'm not rediscovering America here. You probably know that this is true. Sting, for example, makes $2,000 a day for every breath you take. You know the song, Every Breath You Take. So that one, he wrote it many, many years ago, still gets paid for that. Rick Astley makes $250,000 a year for Never Gonna Give You Up. You know, this is the song that my daughter uses to prank me all the time. Stephen King, the novelist, makes $20 million a year in royalties. J.K. Rowling, who wrote Harry Potter, makes $50 million a year in royalties. Keanu Reeves made $75 million in royalties from The Matrix. Tom Hanks made $40 million in royalties from Forrest Gump. Jerry Seinfeld, I actually just went to see him in Toronto recently. He makes $40 million a year from royalties for syndicating Seinfeld, the sitcom. Taylor Swift, she's a machine. She makes $100 million a year in royalties. Tim Ferriss, the author of the 4-Hour Workweek. Now, give me a 2 in the chat if you read the 4-Hour Workweek, if you found this book to be inspiring or in some way helpful. I read this book and I got bitten by the bug of automation, scalability, passive income, outsourcing. I mean, the book spoke right to me. I really, really, really enjoyed it. So he makes $1 million a year from royalties. Robert Kiyosaki, somebody who I consider to be a mentor of mine. He wrote the Rich Dad books, Rich Dad Poor Dad, The Cash Flow Quadrant, Rich Dad Smart Kid, and a bunch of other books. So he makes $5 million a year in royalties. Now, but you're thinking, well, these are celebrities, they're writers, they're producers, they're musicians, they're actors. But what if you could get royalty checks like this one you're seeing on the screen without being an author or writing anything, without being a singer or a performer, without being a movie star, without licensing intellectual property, without patenting a new invention or being a genius, without creating any products? Like Bill here from New Jersey, who's actually used this strategy to get to $3,000 per month in just 90 days while doing this an hour before work. Or Anthony here, who says he had a record-breaking month making $40,000 over and above his job income. In the next 60 minutes, you'll discover how to stop trading hours for dollars and achieve financial freedom without chasing friends and family away, without becoming a sleazy salesperson or a shady marketer, without getting another license or a degree, without phone calls, Zoom meetings, presentations, without building complicated websites or funnels, without wasting time on strategies that take years to work, without relying on luck, without posting endlessly on social media, without trading time for money. Now, you don't need to be famous to earn royalties. That's what I'm here to tell you. You got to be smart, though, okay? I'm going to show you exactly how to be smart to make $100, $300, and even $998.50 in special kind of royalty payments anyone can start collecting today online. My name is Igor Kafetz, and I'm an e-broker. I work on my own schedule. I live on my own terms. I can take off on a trip anytime I wish, and I don't have a boss that I gotta beg for a vacation, a raise, or a day off. I enjoy location-independent income so I can earn money while traveling and spending time with my family. Just this year alone, I earned money from Bulgaria, New York, Mexico, Toronto, Boca Raton, and a bunch of other places. What was once impossible for me is now real thanks to accidentally stumbling into a weird money-making strategy I coined as e-brokering. Now, it all started here. When I was a kid, I was born, well, obviously, first I was born, then I was a kid. So I was born into a pretty typical Ukrainian family. That's me on the left here in my mother's arms. Believe it or not, I did used to have blonde hair. And so this is me, my brother, and my parents. And, we lived a pretty decent life in Ukraine. We weren't rich by any means, but we were doing okay until my dad decided to make a risky investment. So when the Soviet Union fell apart, there were state farms that got privatized, and my dad borrowed money from a local loan shark, a gangster, and he invested $10,000, which in today's money is probably $1 million. I don't know, like the inflation is really crazy these days. So he invested that money into developing this farm. And he had to borrow the money from a gangster, like I said, because we didn't have that money. We simply couldn't afford $10,000. I haven't even seen $1,000 in real life at the time. So he borrowed the money, he gave it to the farm CEO or the guy who was running the operations. And lo and behold, what did that guy do? He spent all that money on prostitutes, gambling, restaurants. He basically blew the money and did not invest anything into developing the farm. Now, my dad tried for a couple of years to get that money back from the irresponsible CEO, but no luck. And so we had to sell our apartment, sell our car, and moved to Israel where we had relatives to start over. Now, mind you, my dad was 45 years old at the time, and I was about 12 years old, and we had to pretty much sell everything we've ever owned, including the apartment that my dad received from the state and an American car. Believe it or not, it was back at the end of the 90s. It was the year 2000, I believe. And so he had to sell his beloved Ford Sierra 3.2 diesel engine station wagon. He was devastated. He never recovered from that. But we ended up moving to Israel to start over. We had some friends and family there, and they helped us out. And we lived in a dump. We lived in an equivalent of what you would call a ghetto. this was the ghetto. This actually a window to my bedroom, from which I started this whole e-brokering deal. And it was a dump. It was a terrible, terrible place to live in. Really just a shithole, really. And we couldn't even afford that. So my parents begged my grandmother to move in with us so we can share in the rent and so we could get a utilities discount because she was a retiree. So we did anything to survive. Now, this is also the reason why I was sent to a military academy, an Air Force academy, for my education. Since I was 12 years old, I was basically, given a uniform to wear, which I wore with pride, and I served in the Air Force. First, I went to like an academy, like a school, and then once I graduated, I joined the Air Force. This is me on the left leaning against a plane, and on the right, I'm leaning against a Merkava tank, an Israeli tank. Now, after I got discharged from the army, I tried to get a quote unquote a decent job, and the only job I could find, even with my credentials, which are pretty good, because once you've done some military service, once you've served in the Air Force, this is good stuff. You have some good credentials. I actually had to settle for a job at a chemical facility producing pesticide liquid that would be shipped to Argentina and Brazil. Now, this was literally a toxic job because the liquid we were producing and the fumes we were breathing in, they were toxic, which means I had to wear a hazmat suit when I worked and take chemical showers after work. We had one guy refusing to take the shower for about a week or two. He was then sent to see a doctor who told him he had skin cancer. He developed skin cancer within just 1 week of not abiding by the sanitation regulation. So that job was literally, was capable of killing you. Now, but that wasn't the worst part about that job because I was stuck in the rat race and I was going nowhere with my life and it was killing me. I really wondered, is there more to life maybe? Like this cannot possibly be it. Now, give me a three in the chat if you can relate to what I'm saying. Like, there's no way this is it. I wake up, I go to work, I come back, I have dinner, I watch a TV show, I go to bed, I wake up the next day to repeat everything all over again. I did not accept that. I was barely into my adulthood and I already hated my life. My job sucked. I couldn't make any real money. I had no real friends. I had no girlfriend. I couldn't travel. I couldn't afford the good stuff in life. And so then I stumbled. Yes, I see that Diana and Esberth and Taranta, you guys feeling me. Um, then I stumbled into this. Anyone recognize this? Put in the chat if you recognize this. I'm curious. So this is Bob Proctor, the late Bob Proctor. Unfortunately, he passed away. He had a tremendous influence in my life on many different levels. And he was featured in a movie that was circulating around the internet called The Secret. Now, you might have seen this movie, you might even read the book, and I believe there's now even Secret 2 on Netflix. I could be wrong, but I believe someone told me it exists. Now, The Secret inspired me. It told me that if I could only think positively, if I could, really, if I could, like put my mind to a goal, I could achieve it. And it got me thinking that I can actually change my life, which set me on a path to self-improvement. And I started attracting things like Dale Carnegie and the work of Dale Carnegie on how to win friends and influence people. Give me a five in the chat if you know what this is, the Dale Carnegie courses. How to Stop Worrying and Start Living. These two books were tremendous for me, helped me regain confidence in myself. Anthony Robbins' Personal Power 2. I downloaded these off of a Black Hat website called Pirate Bay. Maybe some of you are old enough to know what that even is. And I went through that program and it was life-changing. I decided to finally lose weight. I decided to finally get my act together. Robert Kiyosaki, when I read Rich Dad Poor Dad and listened to Kiyosaki's lectures, it really inspired me and fixed my thinking regarding money, right? All of a sudden, I felt capable. and inspired to take advantage of opportunities, to attract better opportunities into my life. I stopped, saying things like, why can't I afford it? Or I can't afford it. And all of a sudden I was able to say, how can I afford it? What can I do to be able to afford it? Right? Instead of saying this is impossible for me, I would ask, how can this be possible for me? So it was very, very big for me. I invested thousands of dollars in improving myself over the years, and I absolutely loved it. I improved my confidence and social skills. I got clear on what I wanted. I gained belief in myself and my abilities to achieve my goals. I lost weight. I started dating and got engaged, and today I'm married to that exact same woman, and we have two beautiful kids that look nothing like me, but do have my last name. So I'm happy with that. I increased my income. I became more productive. I improved my relationships, and I finally felt in control over my life. My life started improving on every level. And when I went through this journey, and I obviously continue to self-develop and improve myself every single day, or at least I strive to do that every single day. I mean, we all have bad days after all. It got me thinking, can I do what these guys do? Can I do what guys like Paul Mahoney, guys like Tony Robbins, guys like, the late Dale Carnegie, at the time, the very much alive Bob Proctor? Can I do what they do? Can I inspire people and help people improve their lives and make a living that way? And as soon as I started thinking that, the devil on my shoulder said, Igor, you're a nobody. What are you talking about? Now, give me a six in the chat if you've ever felt that your mission and your calling is to help people improve their lives. And that's what you want to be doing in life. But at the same time, you had the same exact thing come up where you're like, well, I'm a nobody. I got no credentials. I got no formal teaching education. I got no success stories. I got no methodology. How am I supposed to go out there and help people change their lives if I'm a nobody and I got nothing? Because that's what was going through my mind, and that's why I delayed taking action on my dream. And I can see lots of fives in the chat, so you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. And now I'm seeing sixes in the chat. Yes. Well, the conclusion that I arrived at is it's impossible. It's impossible for me. Until I stumbled into an article where the author was actually doing something interesting. He was suggesting a mentoring program that was delivered online, what we would call an e-learning mentoring program at this point. And he was saying that if I clicked on that link that he provided and bought the program, I could claim a bonus that he was giving away that was actually very valuable, almost as valuable as the program itself. And then he explained that the reason he was doing that is because he was making a royalty. And it got me thinking, wait a second, so you can actually refer somebody to an e-learning program, a mentoring program, a coaching program, a seminar, and you can collect a royalty? I've been referring people to Tony Robbins, Bob Proctor, a bunch of self-development gurus for a long, long time, and I never got paid any royalties. And here I am, actually helping someone else make money, and they get paid a royalty while recommending a program to me. That got me thinking. And I think at that moment I realized I might have stumbled into the perfect hidden income opportunity, because you don't create the product, you don't do any selling, you don't handle delivery, you don't do customer support, you don't deal with collections or payment processors, but you get to keep half the bounty. And I think that's incredible. Give me a 7 in the chat if you understand how incredible this is. You basically do none of the work, but you keep half the money. I think that's beautiful. And I don't know any other opportunity like that that would allow me the benefit of not having to do all the work, but getting to keep the lion's share of the proceeds. All right, yes, I'm seeing sevens in the chat coming in. You guys are feeling it. So then it got me asking, can I do it? So I got into this rabbit hole, started looking for answers, but all I got was only more questions. But I stuck at it. I really stuck at it until I finally made my first check, my first royalty check. It was all worth it. That check, even though it was a small check, it was only $124.37, felt like I made $1 million, because I knew in that moment that if I could make $100 with this, I can make $100,000 with this. And I wasn't wrong. Because with this type of income, it actually has a tendency to grow over time. Some of this stuff actually pays recurring royalties as well. So I ended up building myself a pretty insane, if you ask me, a pretty insane income. I make more in royalties than most people make working their day job for like 10 years. Some checks that I receive are 157,000 big, 211,000 big. Not everything I receive is a check. Sometimes the payments come in like this and like what you're seeing on the screen. So money's coming in every single day from all the kinds of different royalty programs that are paying me right now, and it funds my dream lifestyle with this royalty income. I can afford to fly private jet. Sometimes, not every time. I mean, I'm still pretty frugal, but every now and again, I'll treat the family. I'll take my kids and we'll fly private. Or I drive a Porsche. I live in a pretty big house. And in fact, I have two homes now, one in Europe and one in Canada. And I was able to build a nest egg. And what's interesting is that all the while, I never had to say no to anything that I ever wanted. I wrote off a bunch of different things off my bucket list. I got to race cars, fly airplanes, perform on stages, you name it. I traveled like 40 countries at this point or something. I kind of lost count. So I don't have to say no. I don't have to say no to myself. I don't have to say no to my family. Now, think, how nice would it be to stop having to say no to your family? If any of you have kids or a partner or a spouse, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It hurts to say no. Now, keep in mind, I do not call people on the phone. I do not conduct meetings. I do not get on Zoom calls. So at this point, you might have some questions. Why is it called e-brokering? What are we getting paid royalties for? What's most effective way to earn royalties with this method for beginners, and how to get started today? So give me an 8 in the chat if you're excited to find out answers to these questions, because I would like to answer these questions for you once and for all. But I want to see some exciting comments in the chat. Okay, yes, I see you guys. Tarenta, Diana, Esberth, awesome, fantastic, thank you. So I would like to show you my 3-step e-brokering system, and I will show you the system that I showed Paul, so he too was able to start earning as much as $11,000 in royalties in a single month. Meet Tanya. Tanya is a mortgage broker. Tanya makes money by connecting borrowers and lenders. Tanya collects a percentage of the money she arranges for the lender, aka commission or a premium, and Tanya has lots of meetings and makes lots of phone calls. She's stuck in a cubicle in a branch and has to answer to an annoying boss. She's drowning in paperwork. Let's not be like Tanya. Let's meet Jeffrey. Jeffrey's an insurance broker. Jeffrey makes money by finding the right insurance policy for people. He makes a commission of the premium, which is the cost of the policy. Now, Jeffrey's phone is taped to his ear pretty much. He can't take a bathroom break without it ringing. He can't afford to miss a phone call or text, or a text message, because his clients will just get insurance with another broker. He too has to deal with two most annoying things in the world, and that's people and paperwork. Now give me a 9 in the chat if you too believe that people and paperwork are the two most annoying things in the world. Okay, I take it back. Give me a 9 in the chat if you believe that the most annoying things in the world are people, paperwork, and politicians, because politicians are pretty annoying as well. Now meet Igor, that's me. I'm an e-broker. I make money by connecting people to high-value digital education, aka e-learning programs. I don't talk to people. I spend lots of time with my family, and I'm making a living by helping people improve their lives. No commute for me, no boss for me, no paperwork for me. It's a much better life. And occasionally I get to drive a car with a backwards door, which you know as the Rolls-Royce. Awesome. I see a comment here from Esberth. I've been wanting to recommend other people's courses, events for a commission, but didn't know how to get started. Well, you're in luck because today you will know. So what is e-brokering exactly? E-brokering is a process of earning royalties for connecting learners with high-value e-learning programs. E-brokers don't sell, create, or fulfill. They help people by connecting them to the right digital education programs. E-brokering is highly lucrative because e-learning programs pay some of the highest royalties in the world. It's common for e-brokers to collect 50, 75% as a one-time royalty and as much as 35% as a recurring royalty on a month-to-month basis. Now, why do e-brokers get paid so much? Well, because it's a really big pie. The e-learning opportunity is insane. In 2025, already e-learning market reached $185 billion, and it is expected to double by 2030. Now, what that means is that the entire coffee industry, so the Starbucks, the Dunkin' Donuts, etc., all of those together are only worth 126 billion. Airbnb market is worth 113 billion. And e-learning is already bigger than both of those. E-learning spending is now bigger than the movie industry. Think about it. This is bigger than Hollywood. An average e-learner invests $1,450 per year. That's just amazing. I mean, this is like a really high number if you understand the law of averages. E-learning is expected to reach 82.5 million people in the US alone. However, it is really big and growing worldwide. So all these statistics, let me translate this into some plain English. It's in high demand, it will only grow, and there's a ton of money to be made if you don't sit on your hands. Now, what kind of e-learning programs can you e-broker? You can do health programs like losing weight, conquering diabetes, fertility solutions, building muscle, alternative medicine, mental health, depression, anxiety, and more. I've seen, I kid you not, I've seen a program that's basically a book of remedies that's selling for $100 that you can promote and get paid $70 out of that. So you get 70 cents on every dollar that the person who wrote that book on remedies is going to be earning. You can do relationships. Getting your ex back is a pretty big industry. Fixing a marriage, communication with loved ones, recovering from a divorce, finding your soulmate, and more. You can do wealth related things like make money, investing in stocks, crypto, binary options, gold and silver investing, alternative investment assets like art, and more. You can do professional skills, accounting, engineering, architecture, IT. If there's an industry, if there's a profession, you can promote and profit from the royalties in that niche. I even saw one time a doctor who was teaching other doctors how to earn more money and work less. So he was paying $2,000 in royalties for anyone you refer. Additional categories may include things like spirituality, credit repair, horoscopes, parenting, business, growing produce in your own garden, gardening, woodworking, fishing, survival. If there's a hobby, if there's an interest out there, chances are there is some sort of e-learning program or more, or even more than one program in that niche market. There's one, and I swear this is true, about building a chicken coop that was popular a couple of years ago. So, would you like to know my three-step system to e-brokering riches? Give me a 0 in the chat if you are dying to know how to get involved, how to get started with e-brokering and get paid royalties for recommending programs you like. Awesome. Yes, I can tell you guys are excited. So coming up, I'm going to share with you where to find lucrative e-learning programs that pay high royalties, the most effective way to share these e-learning royalty programs with avid learners. And this is where you're probably thinking, well, I got to be technical. No, if you can forward an email, you can do this. How to work smart to scale your royalty income without working your tail off. So, where to find e-learning royalty programs? Well, there's places like Coursera, Thinkific, Skillshare, Udemy. There's lots of networks. There's literally dozens of them out there. You know, places like, let's see, Khan Academy, Skillshare, edX, LinkedIn Learning. LinkedIn has their own department for that. Masterclass, where you learn from celebrities, etc. So lots of places. But when you go to their website and at the bottom you'll find a link to sign up and become their partner, you will find out that there's a downside of partnering with e-learning marketplaces like Udemy and Skillshare and the like. And the downside is you get paid a small royalty, usually 10 to 15%. You need to refer hundreds and even thousands of people to make any decent income with these platforms. You get paid only once, not every time a learner enrolls in a course, and that means no passive income for you, which is also very bad. And to make it even worse, you're competing with huge influencers on social media who create content around these very platforms who are after your royalties. So you're competing against some big players. Now, I don't think you want to do that because the chances for success are pretty low. And even if you succeed, the payoff is really low as well. I'm a great believer in stacking the odds in your favor and playing games that are easier to win. So I discovered and developed a better way to earn e-learning royalties. I decided to put all of my effort and attention into private e-learning royalty programs that are by invitation only, that pay 40, 50, and even 60% in royalties, and high-end digital education programs priced at $500, $1,000, even $5,000. In addition, software and memberships with recurring royalty components that pay me month after month after month. In fact, just a couple of weeks ago, I had a $7,000 royalty come in from something that I recommended, believe it or not, 3.5 years ago. So that's nice to get unexpected, royalty checks in the mail. Now, would you like my private Rolodex of premium e-learning royalty programs? Give me a 1 in the chat if you'd like for me to share this. My premium e-learning royalty program Rolodex, where I'm sharing with you the very programs that I work with that have made me a lot of money. All right. Yes, seeing lots of ones in the chat. Cool. So that's coming up. Stay tuned. Now, step 2 of my 3-step system is how to share the e-learning programs to earn the royalties. Well, let me first say that I've tried it all. Literally. I chased friends and family away. I grew dedicated social media accounts. I built blogs and wrote lots of articles for Google. I shot video reviews of e-learning programs and platforms and put it up on YouTube and made a joke of myself. And none of it worked until I met this guy. His name is Jason, and I met him in one of the online communities of e-brokers. I connected with him and asked him, what was he doing and how much he was earning. He told me he was earning $10,000 a month in royalty income while still working full-time for the bank. I said, I don't believe you. Show me. We got on a call and he shared his screen and he showed me an actual $10,000 income for the month. And he was doing this part-time. I said, dude, teach me. But first, answer the question, why would you need to have a day job if you're earning $10,000 in royalty income every month? To which he said, look, man, if you've got 3 ex-wives and 4 kids, even $10,000 on the side is simply not enough. This was his curse, in my opinion. One time we were driving down in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. We were getting Chipotle, and his phone rang, and he actually was really surprised and shocked. And he stopped the car. He finished his phone call and turned to me, and I said, "Who was that?" I thought someone died, And he said, "That was my son." I said, "Oh, really? Which one of those? Which one of the 4?" And he says, "It was the 5th one." Turns out he had an illegitimate son somewhere, and the kid turned 16 and decided to contact his father, who had no idea this kid even existed. That was Jason in a nutshell for you. So I told Jason, please teach me. I paid him for mentoring, and he taught me exactly how it's done. And what he taught me actually shocked me, because the secret to big royalty income is in your inbox. And I'm not talking about spam. I'm talking about permission-based emails, 100% compliant, the same kind of emails that Tony Robbins is sending you every day, that Tim Ferriss is sending, that Robert G. Allen is sending, that the late Jim Rohn sends, that Joe Vitale, my friend, Mr. Fire, is sending, that Jordan Belfort from the movie The Wolf of Wall Street is sending, that the late Bob Proctor's company, Proctor Gallagher Institute, is sending, that even Oprah is sending, because she actually, believe it or not, owns lots of email newsletters, especially the one for her book club. Now, this is where you probably think, well, okay, but I don't know how to write an email, recommending an e-learning program. And I say, don't you worry, just answer one question. Can you forward an email? Give me a yes or no in the chat. Can you forward an email? I just want to see a show of hands. Yes or no, can you forward an email? Do you know how it's done? Because if you do, if you can forward an email, I promise you, you can become an e-broker and earn royalty-driven income with this hidden business model. Okay, it looks like we have a room full of people who know how to forward an email. That is encouraging. Awesome. I told you guys, this does not require you to be technical. Okay. So those recommendation letters that you'll be forwarding, they're actually already written for you. And you just need to, forward them along, kind of like a chain letter, if you will, that sometimes people follow. Now, fine, you're thinking, but who do I forward them to? Do I send them to my friends and family? No, please don't. They're gonna hate you for that because they, might not be e-learners. They might not be avid self-development, students like you and me. So instead, we're actually gonna build a database of avid e-learners without us, taking forever or being super technical. We're gonna use email databases, specifically rent and email databases, to do that. So here are 3 examples of databases, email databases that let you rent them on a one-off basis so they can push your message and help you grow your email database. The one on the left is political conservative. The one in the middle is in the survival space where people stock up on lead and beans and love to build bunkers against the zombie apocalypse. And I say this with no judgment. It's a really big industry, and I do believe that there's a good risk of nuclear warfare. So hey, why not be ready for that if you get a kick out of it? And the one on the right is a health email database. Therefore, if you wanted to build a health email e-learner email database, you would be using this one. So it's very easy to make deals with these email publishers because for them, it's a great source of extra income. For you, it's a shortcut for building your own email database for pennies on the dollar. And for the avid learner, that's another opportunity to improve themselves. So everybody wins. And so this method allows you to grow an email database of e-learners in a matter of weeks and not years. Here's an example of an email database that I've been building where I'm actually adding more than 1,000 email addresses into this email database per day. 1,000 of them, right? Imagine if you had reach to like 50,000 e-learners for any particular niche or topic. How easy would it be for you to earn royalty income by recommending programs? And let me remind you, this is 100% can spam and GDPR compliant shortcut to building your email database. You can rinse and repeat this as many times as you wish and grow an email database, and with it, of course, your income. Here's another example of me building an 83.6 thousand email address database in a matter of months from scratch. I showed this method to Suge from LA, and she actually generated 1,000 email addresses on her database and made, from what it seems like, 240, and that's 100, 340 and about, so okay, so over $400 in royalty income. Here's Alia from Georgia with 2.1 thousand emails on her email database. Alexander from New York with 2.9 thousand, then Billy from Jacksonville from 1.2 thousand. Here's Darren, who says, I've already had my first $100 day, and shortly after my first $300 day. I got thousands of people on my e-brokering business, and it's growing every day, and things are looking pretty good for me at the moment. Now, would you like for me to share with you my top e-learners rented databases? It's a list of places where I know to go fairly quickly to just grow my email databases. Would you like access to that list? Give me a 5 in the chat if you do. Awesome. So stay tuned for that. I can see you guys really want it. First, we have to discuss step 3, which is the e-automation. It's the secret to scaling your e-brokering income without working longer hours or working harder or working yourself to death. And it all comes down to one question. If you had 47,291 email addresses on your email databases, how are you going to send them a recommendation letter? Are you going to, send it by hand, type it by hand, forward it one by one 47,000 times? Of course not. It's going to take you forever. And you might die from this, like George's wife on Seinfeld, when she was, mailing all the invitations herself, and she ended up licking too many envelopes with glue and dying from that, getting George off the hook and not having to marry a woman, which he was afraid of. No, we're not going to do that. Instead, we're going to use e-automation to send thousands of emails without doing the work yourself. Now, e-automation allows us to simply copy and paste the provided recommendation email into e-automation software one time, and then it will send it out thousands of times on our behalf. So you can just sit back and collect the royalties like you're seeing me collecting them in my inbox all day long, from as little as $10 to as much as $1,500 all day long. Now, why e-automation is so powerful? Well, it's simple. Imagine you have an email database that is growing by 100 email addresses every single day. So on day one, you've got 100 email addresses on the database, and you take about 10 minutes to locate and copy the recommendation letter into your e-automation and blast it. Let's say you've got a modest 5% conversion, which means you've made 5 royalty payments. Not bad for a day's work. Now, the next day, on the second day, you've added another 100 email addresses. Now you have 200. Now, the thing is that it takes you just as much time to copy and load the recommendation e-letter into the automation software and blast it. Now, it went out to 200 people, and with the same exact modest 5% conversion, you now made double the money, 10 royalty payments. Not bad. But it gets real good for you at the end of the month, because by day 30, you now have 3,000 email addresses. And the time that it takes you to copy and load the recommendation letter into the automation software is the exact same 10 minutes, because we only have to do it one time. And even if we get the exact same 5% conversion, or even if we get 2% conversion, or even 1% conversion, we're still going to make lots and lots and lots of royalty payments, having only worked for about 10 minutes. How's that possible? Thanks to the e-automation. Now, this is where you realize that the more your email database grows, the more your income grows, and that is without having to work harder, living the 4-hour work week. Now, in a bit, I would also like to share with you what is the best e-automation to use and how to get 30 days of e-automation for free. Okay, so if you're excited about that, give me a 7 in the chat. Let me know. Now, let's recap. We discovered the 3-step e-brokering system by yours truly. First, we spoke about where to get the lucrative e-learning programs that pay high royalties and why we shouldn't partner up with these e-course marketplaces. We spoke about the most effective way to share these e-learning royalty programs with avid learners, and this is why if you can forward an email, you can actually do this, and how to work smart to scale your royalty income without working your tail off using e-automation. Now, you too can make royalty income with e-brokering, like my student Derman, who actually is from Malaysia, and he started this when he was in college, and he built a 4.4 thousand email address database and had a $370 day, and all that money came within a span of 2 hours of him forwarding that email. Or like Daz here, who says, I make all of my income online now, and I couldn't have done it without Igor. Or like Chris here, who says, Igor's training program has made me more money in a single week than all the other things I've ever done online. Or like Daniel, who says, I just had my first $2,500 month, and I've never made so much money online before. So the question then becomes, Would you like me to take you by the hand and show you in depth how to build a successful royalty income with e-learning programs while you follow along click by click, step by step? Give me a yes or no in the chat. Would you like to know how it's done? Would you like to learn how this is done from one of the best in the world? And I say this with, trying not to brag about it, but simply because you know that this is coming from somebody who's living this. It's not just some theory. All right, I'm seeing yeses rushing in. Great. Okay, so would you like me to give you all of my templates, shortcuts, and hacks to help you make maximum royalty income in minimum time? Would you like to discover the fastest way to have a wildly profitable e-brokering business in just 30 minutes a day in the next 30 days? Yes, 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 definitely yes, yes, please, you say in the chat. So I would like to introduce you to my 30-day e-brokering system, where I teach you and show you and help you build wildly profitable royalty-driven business in just 30 minutes a day. I got this down to a system and a process, and this system simply eliminates the guesswork and eliminates the confusion. The system is easily duplicatable by a complete beginner, and I will show you how to put together your entire e-brokering system from scratch without any technical experience. This will speed up your progress, eliminate confusion, and help you avoid overwhelm. This is not theory. There's no lectures. You're not gonna, see me stand in front of a whiteboard and try to have you memorize things. No, we're gonna do stuff together, kind of like painting between the lines. My system takes you from $0 to $10,000 plus in e-learning royalty income per month in just 5 phases. Phase 1, we're going to talk about e-learning royalty income streams, where and how to find highly profitable, highly lucrative e-learning royalty programs, the proven way to get accepted into these by invitation only royalty programs without previous experience or any credentials, how to set up your payout profile to get your royalty payments without a hitch, how to set up a professional e-broker profile to be offered the best opportunities out there, a suite of automation and productivity tools to organize and automate your entire e-brokering business so it runs like a well-oiled machine, the 3 go-to platforms crammed with high-converting e-learning royalty programs, my secret go-to spot for highly lucrative e-learning software hybrid royalty programs with a recurring component, and one thing that makes any royalty program instantly 3 times more profitable and where to look for it. Phase 2, making deals with email publishers. I'll share with you where to find email publishers to rent their databases for pennies on the dollar, exactly what to say to them so they're agreeable and want to work with you long term, and the one phrase that gets email publishers to drop up to 30% of their rental fee without resistance. I will also share with you in phase 3, growing your email database, how to automatically, ethically, and legally add hundreds of learners' email addresses every day to your email database to build a huge database within weeks, not years, starting from scratch. How to seamlessly obtain permission to send them recommendation letters with e-learning programs they love, so you're compliant at all times with the Can't Spam Act and GDPR, and how to collect email recipients into e-automation automatically without having to load them one by one, which will save you hours every day. In phase 4, we'll talk about growing your income with e-automation, where to find done-for-you recommendation letters for every e-learning royalty program, how to forward the done-for-you recommendation letters to your email database with a few clicks using e-automation, and how to set up automated recommendation letters to be sent to every new email recipient joining your e-learner database, even if it's 2 a.m., so you can make money while you sleep. In phase 5, we'll talk about scaling beyond $10,000 a month, how to set up multiple streams of royalty income from day one, how to go from 0 to your first 1,000 in royalty income, an exact blueprint to scaling from 1,000 a month to 10,000 a month and beyond in royalty income without working harder. Now, I want you to imagine for a sec if there was a technology that would make this whole process even easier and even less time consuming than I made it. Because that technology exists. I call it the eBrokering AI Suite, and it's a suite of tools that I created, a collection of secret AI tools that I created to help you eliminate analysis paralysis, automate research, and save time growing and running your eBrokering business. These tools aren't available for sale anywhere. I've created them specifically for my students. They help you automate the process of locating and finding the best e-learning royalty income streams, help you decide which income streams to use and which to avoid, write high converting recommendation letters for you for any e-learning royalty program. They can even write entire sequences consisting of 5, 10, or even 15 recommendation emails. Helps identify the best e-learning niches to pursue, comes up with the right branding and positioning for your e-brokering business, and creates bonuses you can give to e-learners who act on your recommendations to increase your income, and much, much more, just like that guy through whom I've stumbled into this whole business in the first place. Now, I bet this is exciting. Give me a 9 in the chat if this is already exciting, because I know this is. But I want to share with you one more thing that I know you can appreciate. You see, someone once told me that knowing what to do is one thing, but actually doing it and doing it the right way is a whole other thing. Give me a 1 in the chat if you agree with this statement, if you yourself have learned this along the way. Okay, I'm seeing 9s and I'm seeing 1s. Yes. This is why I'm also giving you live weekly coaching with my program, where every week I host a live coaching session where I help you apply what you've learned, avoid common mistakes, and fast track your results. This way, you're never left wondering, am I doing this right? Or what should I do next? Because you'll have real-time guidance, direct feedback, and support from me and my team to keep you moving forward. You get personalized feedback on your unique situation, and you can stay accountable and on track to avoid falling into a familiar trap of starting something and quitting halfway. Now, give me a 2 in the chat if you know what that's like. Starting something and then, leaving it halfway. Kind of like, acquiring more knowledge, being more knowledgeable, but not necessarily being more successful. You can tell me about how to be successful, but you're not successful yourself. So how is that helping you? Well, that's not helping you at all. And I don't want this for you. I want this to be different. Look, what I'm saying with all this is that this is not just another course. I don't want you to be like the guy on the left who's going through course after course after course, frustrated, very knowledgeable, I'm sure, but also tired and overwhelmed and overworked and stuck in analysis paralysis and basically collecting information, collecting stuff on his hard drive, but behind on his bills and frustrated about his life. I want you to be more like the guy on the left, on the right, the guy who starts a program, completes the program, does what he's told, and gets results, follows a proven system, makes the money, and is able to travel, be location independent, do something that allows him to feel great about himself because he's helping people and making a good living, doing something rewarding, something that he can feel proud of, something that leaves a mark and allows him to be financially set and live comfortably. That's what I want for you. I want you to be the one on the right, not the one on the left. And all I'm asking in return is 30 minutes a day for the next 30 days for me to prove it to you. To prove to you that you can build highly lucrative, semi-passive, royalty-driven income and rapidly scale your income as well. As you can see here, $6.7 million received into my PayPal account with this. So it's pretty powerful. Now, how much is this going to cost you? Well, I charge $8,000 for one-on-one coaching, but for webinar attendees only, who I know might be thinking, well, I don't have $8,000, and because it would lock out people who really need this out of getting it, I will show you a way to get my system for a tiny fraction of that price. But first, I want you to meet Kevin. Kevin was a construction worker in the UK, and he would go away from home for 2 weeks at a time, working on these high electric lines. It was a demanding construction job, and he would leave his wife, Megan, home with 2 boys, William and George. It would kill him. He really wanted to break out of this red race. So he approached me and asked me to coach him, and I said, I charge $8,000. He said, I can't pay you 8, but can we break this into payments? I'll start with $2,000. I said, fine. He sent me the $2,000. We got going, and I showed him exactly what to do and exactly what I do. And the results that he reported back were nothing short of amazing. He ended up making enough money to put together a deposit on a brand new family home with internet money. How incredible that is. The money made in this ether digital, the thing that people think it doesn't even work, he actually was able to take money made with that and put it towards a house. I think that's incredible. I'm really proud of KJ, of Kevin. And he was able to eventually ditch his 9 to 5 job as well and work from home. Although he later admitted to me that working from home was difficult because they had another boy after that, and he was going out and working outside of home. He ended up paying the entire $8,000 fee for my mentoring program, so that's fair. And he will probably tell you that that was $8,000, the best $8,000 he's ever spent. Now, my question to you is this, and give me a yes or no in the chat. Would you like me to coach you how to make money with e-learning royalty programs like I did for Kevin without paying the $8,000 he paid for coaching with me? Give me a yes or no in the chat. Because there's a way to do it, and I would like to show it to you. Yes, 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 show me, definitely, absolutely, let's go, LFG. Awesome, all right, well, LFG then. Now, before I show you, you probably might be thinking, what's the catch? Well, it's very simple. You see, Kevin paid for my secrets and my time. I had to personally sit down and teach him everything over Zoom meetings. But soon I realized that I can only help so many people this way because I become my own bottleneck. And that is why I packaged my method into a system, right? So Brian says, in the last 3 days alone, I've made over $350. And Chrissy here says that if it wasn't for Igor, I would have never gotten the confidence, the knowledge, and the contacts I needed to build an online business that produces consistent income. She actually went on to build a 9.9 thousand email database in 6 months and retiring her husband, Randy, who got injured at work but did not get disability. So it just came at the right time in her life to be able to support her family. Emily's here from Lithuania, ended up building a $30,000 per month income with this. He says, listen to Igor and do everything he tells you, and you'll see success in your online business. So this system created countless success stories, and I hope you can and want to become the next one. And the good news is that you can get it at 88% off my $8,000 mentoring fee, and you can get started for just $997. And I'll even back it up with a guarantee, which basically says your decision is 100% risk-free. It is backed up by my 30-day money-back guarantee. If you don't feel for any reason that this system is for you, just email me at support@listbuildinglifestyle.com or call 530-456-4094. And you got to add +1 if you're outside of the States for a hassle-free refund. But I know you won't need it. I'm simply offering this to you to give you the peace of mind, but I know you won't need it because I've helped people from all walks of life. Here's an 82-year-old chemistry teacher, Bruce. He says, I'm a retired chemistry teacher. I've got more degrees than a thermometer. I was trying to make money online for 2 years before I met Igor. I asked him to help me with my e-brokering. Now I've got 3 e-brokering businesses and I'm growing and making sales. Igor is a man of integrity. I highly recommend his e-brokering system. Now, before I share with you how to get started, I want to share with you a very important detail, and I want you to listen up very carefully. Oftentimes, I get asked the question, what is common for all of the students that I work with that succeeded? What sets them apart from people who don't succeed? People who kind of like let life, go by and they stay on the wayside. Well, I've studied this carefully, and I've came to a conclusion there's only one X factor. This is my student Juan from Panama. He was a recovering alcoholic with $1,500 to his name. And he approached me for help, and I helped him. And he went on to start making as much as $10,891 in 72 hours. And Juan shared something that all of my successful students shared as well, and that is decisiveness. He had the ready, fire, aim approach. He didn't try to, figure out what's the plan or how to make it perfect or waited for a perfect opportunity. He just decided he wanted to create an outcome in his life, and he went for it, not having the whole plan. So this is why I would like to offer you an ethical bribe to help you take action today. To the first 30 people who take action today, I'm going to give you a set of fast action bonuses that are going to skyrocket your result. First, the same day email and phone support. I got a clear and definite, concrete, no student left behind policy. I got a dedicated full-time support staff, and we create video responses by me for any out of the ordinary issues. So this is actually from a trust pilot, and it says, I can see that Igor has gone out of his way and made it a point to ensure he provides superior support to his customers. Olivia, who provides email support, is super supportive, quick with getting back. This alone, which I have not really experienced so far, this kind of quickness and support really nailed it for me as far as giving Igor a 5-star review. This is $300 value, and it's yours free when you're in the first 30. Next, lifetime updates. Things don't stop working, they evolve. Get updated training material for free and stay up to date with what's working and what's no longer working. Okay, that's $500 value, yours free. Also, premium e-learning royalty programs. You are going to be able to maximize your income by working with premium private income streams. So you can get paid more money compared to the average e-learning royalty program, and so you can avoid lots of trial and error. So you too can get big payments like these. This is $700 value, and I give it to you for free if you're in the first 30 people to enroll. Also, e-automation quick start guide. Automation can be confusing if you're not tech savvy, so that's why I want to help you avoid getting lost in unimportant technical detail, and I show you just the meat and potatoes of what you need to know. Kind of like when you learn how to drive a car, you don't take apart the engine. You don't need to know how the gearbox works. You just get in the car, learn to turn it on and off, and drive it. Same thing, we don't go under the hood, we just learn how to use the tool. This is $200 value, and it's yours free when you are in the first 30 to enroll. Next, fill in the blanks e-letters. E-brokers make royalties by forwarding recommendation letters suggesting e-learning programs. I call them e-letters. Most e-learning royalty programs come with pre-written e-letters. Some e-letters work well, some don't work so well, some don't work at all. And that's why I developed a set of foolproof e-letters that boost results. That's $1,200 value, and you get those free if you're in the first 30 to enroll. Next, passive income machine. I wasn't born rich, so I could never go into stocks or real estate. So I created a system to start making passive income using one-page website and email marketing. So you can then build multiple streams of income that actually last. This is $400 value, and it's yours free if you're in the first 30. Next, e-learners rent a database Rolodex. The more your e-learner database grows, the more royalties it will produce. So key to fast growth is to quickly generate lots of email addresses on autopilot. It is done through renting email databases of existing e-learners owned by other people. In the core mentoring program, I show you how to find these email databases yourself. In this bonus, I'm giving you specific databases to work with that I've personally vetted for you. This is how Justin here, for example, is able to add as much as 316 email addresses to his database in a day and making $320 in the process as well. So this is a $1,000 value and yours free if you're in the first 30 to enroll. Ebrokering Profits Multiplier site. After transitioning to become a full-time e-broker, I stumbled into a secret strategy that doubled my royalties and involves using a super simple one-page website that increases my conversions. In this bonus, I'm giving you the template for this website so you can use it to double your profits too. It's $500 value and it's yours free if you're in the first 30 to enroll. Next, e-learning campaign in a box. Would you like to watch over my shoulder as I build an entire campaign for a premium e-learning royalty program from scratch? Originally, I created this training to free up my time by delegating the campaign building to someone else. So it is the most in-depth over-my-shoulder walkthrough of building a premium e-learning royalty campaign ever made, and it was made specifically to replace myself. So it's exactly how I do it, okay? Exactly, nothing held back. You can follow along these to create a campaign for yourself just like it, or use it as a training to teach a friend or a family member that you want to partner up with to build your campaigns for you. That's a $1,000 value, and it's yours free if you're in the first 30 to enroll. 7 swipe-ready e-brokering campaigns. I created and ran over 1,000 e-brokering campaigns by now and made millions of dollars. So I handpicked 7 I don't know why 7, maybe it's a lucky number, of my all-time most profitable ones and gave them to you to study and copy. Now, this is personal rights use only. You cannot sell these. You cannot give these away. It's only for your eyes. It's $2,000 value, and it's yours free if you're in the first 30 to enroll. Now, finally, one click done for you e-brokering system foundation. All e-brokering campaigns are based on the same foundational components, so I packaged them into a click-ready system. So you can clone it with a few clicks of your mouse, use it as your foundation to build your first e-brokering system, then your second, the third, and the fourth. This will save you a lot of time and will give you a lot of confidence when you get started. So all this is yours for free when you enroll at igor.top/ebroker. So you get the e-brokering system plus the AI suite plus the coaching. You get, as a bonus for free, you get priority support, lifetime updates, premium royalty programs, Rolodex, e-automation quick start, fill in the blanks e-letters, passive income machine training, e-learner rented databases Rolodex, e-brokering profits multiplier site template, e-learning campaign in the box, 7 swipe ready campaigns, and a done for you e-brokering system foundation that's reusable, and you can reuse it as many times as you want. That's $4,000 value, and it's yours for free if you're in the first 30 to enroll. And you can enroll now at igor.top/ebroker, or you can use the link in the chat and just click that link in the chat to enroll now. Remember, you got to be in the first 30 to enroll in order to qualify for these fast action bonuses. They'll be waiting for you as soon as you hop on board. Okay? So again, I've put together this bonus package for one reason and one reason only. I want to encourage those of you who've got the decisiveness that it takes to be success stories, because I don't want this to become just another course you buy, start, and then drop. No, I want this to be an entirely different coaching experience for you. That's why I've created the e-brokering AI suite. That's why I'm doing live weekly coaching. That's why the program is carefully thought through and optimized to get you to your first royalty as fast as possible, and then to show you how to scale from your first royalty to your second, your fifth, your 10th, and on and on and on until you're making the kind of money you want to be making. And remember, you're also backed up by my no risk guarantee. So at any point, if you don't feel like this is exactly what I'm saying it is, you can always go back, email us at support@listbuildinglifestyle.com, or call us. I'm going to have my team put the information in the chat, and you can always ask for your money back. But I know you won't need it, because you'll be surprised just how different this system is from everything else that you've tried in the past. It's very, very different. Hence why it delivers such incredible results. Now, I want to do some Q&A, so if you have any questions, please put them in the chat. In the meantime, wanted to share with you a few more case studies of people just like you who at one point weren't really sure. They weren't really, they couldn't really find their way. They tried different things online. They couldn't really figure out what they wanted to do. Well, here's Riz, who says, just wanted to thank you for helping me, Igor. So far, I've made $6,819.22 in just 16 days this month working from coffee shops. I don't think I would have come this far, this fast, without you. Or David here, who built a $100,000 per month royalty income. He says that Igor is the absolute master when it comes to this stuff. And, he ended up moving from Canada to Thailand, where he lives now. He sent me a picture a couple of days ago of a giant new tattoo on his back, and he's been having the time of his life. Says he's never going back to Canada ever again. And the only reason he was able to do that, of course, is because his income is no longer tied to location. Because at one point he was a real estate agent and he had to be in Toronto all the time, because if he's not in Toronto, he can't close real estate deals. Or Chris here, who says, I now have 9,919 emails in my e-brokering business and making thousands of dollars in passive income every single week. If it wasn't for Igor, I would have never gotten the confidence, the knowledge, and the contacts I needed to build an online business that produces consistent income. And with Chris here, she was able to retire her husband, Randy, who got injured at work. And she also has a tradition of taking all of her girlfriends on a boat trip that she pays for entirely once a year just because she can afford it. Isn't that nice? I like that. Next, we've got Lenin from Ecuador. So not a native English speaker by any means, but he knew how to, you know, he knew English, some basic English. And in just a couple of months, he says, of working with Igor, I've generated 7,000 emails on my e-brokering business and an income of $8,000 per month. I think that's pretty nice. In fact, he was averaging more than $1 in royalty income for every email address on his email database. And that's a very nice way to think about this, by the way, because your royalty income is tied to the size of your email database. The bigger the email database, the more money you're going to make. Hence why, of course, it makes sense to grow your email database as big as possible. He got to a point within just a few months where every email on his email database was worth, more than $1. Celeste says, I'm a full-time mom of 3 kids and I've got an offline business that keeps me busy. I wanted to add another source of income that wouldn't take much of my time. After a couple of months of your e-brokering system, I've added an additional income stream of $3,000 per month that runs on its own. Not bad, Celeste. Not only a business owner, but a mom of 3 was able to fit this into her busy schedule and build a $3,000 autopilot per month income with e-royalties. I think it's pretty neat. I don't know very many online businesses or ways of making money that can do that. Now, Justin here has an interesting story. So Justin says, I reached out to Igor shortly after my mother passed to cancer. I was having trouble to keep up with the mortgage payments and was just a couple of months away from the bank taking my mother's home. Igor showed me how to quickly build an e-brokering business in my spare time, and in my first year, I made almost $100,000. I not only saved my mother's home, but also quit my 9 to 5. So Justin used to work for AT&T. You probably heard of this company before. And he used to be in their either support department or sales department. He hated that job. He walked away. He approached me and I showed him what to do. I gotta say, he was very, very aggressive on taking action. I think he was single at the time, and so he pretty much devoted himself to this full time. And so the results show, because in the first year, he hit $100,000 from scratch, and we're talking about a kid. Not only that, he ends up saving his mother's home from foreclosure, which is amazing if you think about it. I mean, how many houses get foreclosed every single year just because people cannot keep up on those mortgage payments? They're probably in the hundreds of thousands. People lose their homes every day. And here's a kid who used this method to save his home from being taken by the bank. Big kudos to Justin. Bruce here, I mentioned Bruce earlier, but I'll read his testimony again. I'm a retired chemistry teacher. I've got more degrees than a thermometer. I was trying to make money online for 2 years before I met Igor. I asked him to help me with my e-brokering, and now I've got 3 e-brokering businesses and I'm growing and making sales. Igor is a man of integrity. I highly recommend his e-brokering system. With Bruce, he was actually already taking interest in e-brokering. He heard about it. He saw some people making money with it. He just didn't have a good mentor to show him how it's done. So he knew the potential. I didn't need to convince him on the potential of it, but he needed basically some help. And I did. And in spite of being not very technical, he's a school teacher after all, he managed it perfectly. Here's Bill. So Bill approached me. He had a wedding coming up, and he had a massive student loan debt and a demanding day job which he couldn't quit. And so he approached me and basically said, look, I got an hour a day tops that I can do this. Can I really do this? I said, yes, you can. Because when I started, I was working 2 jobs actually. So here's what he says. Before meeting Igor, I tried at least 10 different things online. I was in no position to get rid of a job, so I needed something I could do early in the mornings or late at night. After just 90 days, I started making $3,000 a month. I'm getting close to the $6,000 a month mark. He actually went on to go well beyond that mark, well beyond $6,000 a month. But then I lost contact with him, and I don't know whether or not he quit that job, but I do know that he did get married, though. He posted that on his Facebook. Here's Jeffrey. Jeffrey is actually a former police officer. And he says, Igor is an excellent mentor. With just one thing he showed me, I took my e-brokering business to $20,000 per month. Whatever he's offering, don't think twice, take it. Now with Jeffrey, he wasn't actually a student of mine. We were more like buddies who were both using, e-brokering to make a good living, but he was stuck. I spoke to him. We've done a couple of mastermind calls, and he was on the right track. He was just a little bit stuck. And I think I shared 1 or 2 tips with him that allowed him to unlock and unleash a much bigger income and, to go to 20K per month and beyond. Now, from here, there's only like one conclusion really. And that is with e-brokering, the only person who limits how much you make is yourself, because this industry can give you an insane income, almost unlimited income. Like I know e-brokers who are making as much as $10 million a year. $10 million a year, and they don't run big operations. So this is highly scalable because of how big the industry and this opportunity actually is. Awesome. So guys, if you enrolled, okay, don't be shy. Put in the chat that you're enrolled, etc., etc., etc. If you have questions, please put them in the chat. I'll pick them up and I'll answer them for you. So, question from Luis: how much time per day is ideal to learn and implement the system? So, the good thing about the system, you don't really learn much. And here's what I mean. It's not like you're not going to learn things. You will. What I mean is, it's not about learning. It's not about acquiring more knowledge. How many times have you invested in the course where all you've done is acquired knowledge, but it never resulted in you growing your bank account? Give me a 7 in the chat if that ever happened to you. Well, we don't want that, right? We want you going from 0 to your first royalty payment as fast as possible, right? We don't want to go as slow as possible. We want to go as fast as possible. So to take you there as fast as possible, we're actually doing the absolute minimum amount of learning possible. Instead, we're taking action. So in the past, you've joined coaching programs where they taught you theory, right, about what you should be doing and how things work, almost like a classroom online. But first off, it's boring, and second, that doesn't help you implement. You can't learn to ride a bicycle by reading a book about it. You have to get on a bicycle. So that's exactly what we're doing in this program. It's a 30-day sprint where every day I'm asking you to give me 30 minutes of your time. So together we implement a step from my system. And every day we implement one step. It takes 30 minutes. Now I'll admit, some days it actually takes 40 minutes, but I hope you can forgive me for that. But this is very much an action-oriented, results-oriented program that is designed to take you to results as fast as possible. This is not about learning. Therefore, it doesn't take a lot of time on a daily basis. So you really only need about 30 minutes a day. Now, if you can devote an hour a day, perfect. Do 2 steps per day. If you're going to do this on the weekend and you got the whole weekend available to you, and you're going to sit down for 4 hours and do like binge through the program, do that. I don't care. The most important thing is that the moment you sit down to start going through the program, you're sitting down to take action. You're not sitting down to learn. You're not sitting down to memorize. You're not sitting down to fill your head with more knowledge. Okay, this is not about that. Okay, so Luis says, thanks so much for the answer. I'm in. Awesome. That also means that you're in the first 30 people, as far as I know at least. My team will let me know. And that means you're qualifying for the fast action bonuses, the priority support, the lifetime updates. We actually just rolled out some updates last week. The premium royalty programs Rolodex, the e-automation quick start, the fill in the blanks e-letters, the passive income machine training, the e-learner rented database, the e-brokering profits multiplier site template. That's a big one, guys. The e-learning campaign in a box training, I believe it's the most thorough campaign building training you'll ever find on the subject, and I don't think anyone ever created something as thorough as this. The 7 swipe ready e-learning campaigns, and the done for you e-brokering system foundation worth $4,000, because this is a foundation that you can use to build an unlimited number of e-brokering beginnings, so to speak. Right? So Diana says, I'm in. Yes, Diana. Yes. Well done. Torrento says, I'm in. Just joined. So excited. I'm excited for you. I am so excited for you because I've seen people go through this path, through this journey, and when they take action, magic happens. We were just in the coaching call last week when somebody reported adding just 40 email addresses to their email database and already making 2 sales. Things can change fast for you, okay, if you take action. Next question from Ian. How can I check out if this is legit? Well, very simple. Enroll in the program. You're backed up by a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you don't feel like this is legit for any reason, then by all means, email us at support@listbuildinglifestyle.com or call the phone number that my team posted in the chat and ask for your money back. And if you don't feel this is legit, we're not keeping you, my friend. Also, guys, very important to say that, look, I don't need the money. Like, I'm already making, as you've seen from all the checks I showed you, I'm already making a lot of the money. This is different. The reasoning to do this is the same reason why I've always wanted to be like the Tony Robbinses of the world. I wanted to make an impact on the lives of the people, just like those other mentors made impact on me. So here's another case study from Arun. Now, Arun says, it's not just about the money, but the freedom and confidence that comes with it. I wouldn't have been able to achieve it without your help. Angela here says, before Igor, I had a number of coaches who promised to teach me how to make money online, but it wasn't until I hooked up with Igor that I started seeing results. Now I easily make $100 a day. You can't find a better person to work with than Igor. So as you can see, there's case studies from pretty much every walk of life. I mean, we've seen case studies from women, from men, from young and from old, and we're going to see more case studies. I'll show them to you. Please feel free to post your questions. Please feel free to let me know you're in the program so I can welcome you and congratulate you. I can see signups coming in. I just don't see when the signups are coming in. I can't see the name. Like, I can see that people are coming in from a location. Like, I see somebody joined from United Kingdom just now, and I see someone joined from Minnesota, United States, and I see someone joined just now from NS Canada, New Brunswick, Canada. Awesome. And I see someone from Canterbury, New Zealand. I just can't see the names, guys. Okay, so if you joined the program, please let me know in the chat so I can welcome you in, and I will. Okay, I'm seeing more questions in the chat. Let's see what we got. Yes. Can this be done by anyone worldwide? Are there any geographical restrictions? No, there's definitely no geographical restrictions. Here's a great example of that, by the way. This is a lady, her name is Andrea. She's from Romania. And Andrea says, I was on the edge because my employer hasn't paid my salary in a few months. I borrowed money from my mother to start with your program. Now I make $3,000 per month with my e-brokering business. Thank you for all your help, Igor. Well, as you know, $3,000 in Romania is a pretty good income. And when you can do this while traveling the world and while living in an Eastern European country, I think that's beautiful. I think it's amazing. And so, if Andrea can do this out of Romania, if you're in Australia or New Zealand or England or Canada, United States, or anywhere in the West, you'd be able to do this easily. All right, I want to welcome a few more people. I would like to welcome Christian. That's my son's name actually. I have his name tattooed on my forearm. So Christian, welcome to the program. Rob, welcome to the e-brokering mentoring program. Congratulations. Brenda, welcome to the program. Maurice, welcome to the program. Howard, welcome aboard, my friend. Lowell, welcome aboard. Wendell and Liam. Man, you guys are coming in fast, thick and fast. I absolutely love it. I see someone joined from Utrecht, Netherlands. Hope I pronounced that right, Utrecht. All right, next case study. So here's Darman, another great case study of somebody who done this, from somewhere. So this guy is from Malaysia, and he says, when I started with Igor, I didn't know anything about e-brokering. My e-brokering business now is 4.4 thousand email addresses. Yesterday, I made $370 in under 2 hours. If I can do it, you can even do it better than me. And he says it because his English was terrible. He's absolutely like, I was having the hardest time understanding Derman when we started working together. His English was absolutely terrible. And yet, in spite of that, and in spite of going to college, he still managed to pull this off. Congratulations. I'm so proud of this kid. Absolutely proud of this success story. Welcome, Trish. Trish just joined us. Welcome aboard. I'm so happy to have you. Also, Sophie. Welcome, Sophie. Welcome, Natalie. Welcome, Isabella. Awesome. Girl powers. Like, look at all the girls joining. Congratulations, guys. You're definitely, I think you're in the first 30 people to join, which means you're qualifying for all the fast action bonuses. You're getting the e-brokering system, the AI suite, the coaching, the priority support, the lifetime updates, the premium royalty programs, the e-automation quick start, the fill in the blanks e-letters, the passive income machine training, the e-learner rent databases, the e-brokering profits multiplier site template, the e-learning campaign in a box, the 7 swipe ready campaigns, and the done for you e-brokering system foundation. So you qualify for all of these. These are all free for you as a bonus for joining today, but they're worth a lot of money. Trust me, don't let the fact that you're getting these for free devalue anything about what you're getting. Okay. So when you go to igor.top/ebroker to enroll in the system, you're making a wise decision. Okay. This is the best opportunity I've ever put together when it comes to this stuff, I swear. Now here's Albie from Australia. Now Albie came in with an email database. I only needed to show Albie a better way to use it. So he says, I recently ran an e-brokering campaign with Igor's system and netted $10,000 in just 3 days. There are still more sales coming through, so I expect to make even more. Albie actually used to be a truck driver. He used to drive all across Australia with these long, giant trucks. And he was able to use this to then have his family get into an RV and travel around Australia while his wife homeschooled their 4 children. Gorgeous, absolutely beautiful. I met them in Netherlands one time. We went there. I spoke at their seminar, and it was really cool, a really cool experience. And then I got to talking to his wife, and boy, if I ever respected somebody, man, this woman scared the crap out of me. She was so on point. I felt like such an underachiever next to her. Ed here says, I quadrupled my e-brokering income since I started working with Igor. I went from just paying the bills to having freedom. Ed actually approached me. He already had an email database and he was managing it pretty well. but he wasn't happy with the amount of money he was earning from it. So, and also he was working very hard. Like he was working much harder than he should have. So I showed him not so much how to make a lot more money, although his income did quadruple, but it was more about installing automation and being smart about the way he worked. As a result, he was able to completely step away from his e-brokering business, get into an RV with his wife, and take 2 months to travel around United States and Canada. I think it's really cool because he had that dream for a very, very, very long time. Here's Daz who says, my business is growing by leaps and bounds and I make all of my income online. I couldn't have done it without Igor. When I spoke to Daz for the first time, he was actually going through like a very unpleasant experience. He's an entrepreneur and he had an employee who was trying to sue him for some kind of misconduct. And he was really getting tired of dealing with people offline. So he wanted to transition. So congratulations to Daz for doing that. Chiara here from Malta says, I recommend anyone who wants to get into e-brokering to work with Igor. Igor is second to none. Dave here says, I've got 2,556 emails on my e-brokering business in just 3 weeks. It works. I haven't quit my day job yet, but I've already made $2,013.70. I like where this is going. Daniel says, with Igor, I could smell success immediately. I just had my first $2,500 month and I've never made so much money online before. Now, Daniel is the only person, no, the second person who I worked with from Sweden. I haven't had very many students from Sweden, but Daniel was from Sweden and he was just trying to find something to do that didn't require him to go and work a day job or have to deal with a boss. And trust me, I understand what he feels like. Now, Corey here, he says, I'm blown away by the power of Igor's e-brokering system. I was looking at this whole thing as a side hustle to add a few $100s per month to my income, but it turned out to be much bigger than I thought. I scaled my e-brokering income to over $20,000 per month thanks to Igor. Igor really knows what he's doing. Now, what's interesting with Corey is that Corey had Tourette's. So his options as far as work were very limited and he really needed something online. Now he did get into this to do it on the side, but it ended up becoming a full-time thing for him and he started scaling it really, really fast. He actually went well beyond $20,000 per month last time I checked with him. Awesome. Next, Brian. Even before I discovered e-brokering through Igor, I kept hearing about people making money with emails, but I didn't know how to build my own email subscriber base. I never even got started, but when I hooked with Igor, in just a couple of months, I was able to start making $100 a day consistently. Well done, man. Well done. Let's see if we have any more questions and if anyone wants me to welcome them into the program. I don't know how many members we already have enrolled. I believe we're probably closer to 20 now than we are to 10. So I don't know the exact amount. I don't know if anyone was keeping track or not, but we're getting there. We're definitely getting there. Okay. Yep. Okay. So let's welcome Travis. Congratulations. Welcome to the program. Let's welcome Derek. Let's welcome Ethan to the program as well. Awesome. Let's welcome Jordan to the program. Great to have you guys. Can't wait for you to get started. Next question. How long to set this up? This is actually up to you. You can work on your own schedule. If you've got the time and the desire and the tenacity, you can set everything up as early as today. Remember, it's 30 days, 30 minutes a day, so all you have to do is just follow the steps. I recommend actually taking the steps one a day so it doesn't get overwhelming for you, because people tend to get into things and really dive in head first and then they kind of burn out. If that ever happened to you when you got into a gym routine and you were like going to the gym twice a day, you were so dedicated, and then it's like a week later, you don't feel like going. So I recommend the opposite. Let me guide you through this. Take my lead, follow my lead, and do one step per day, 30 minutes per day. Trust me, it's going to really fit into your life no matter how busy you are, and you'll be able to set everything up pretty quickly. So to answer your question, how long to set this up? Not very long at all. And it can be faster or longer depending on how you want it to be. Okay? So again, I don't know how many people we have already enrolled, but I also wanted to welcome Stephanie, Stacy, Jason, and Mel, who are in, and you guys have made a wise decision, just like Chris here, who says, Igor's training program has made me more money in a single week than all other things I've ever done online. And Darren here says, I've been working with Igor for a couple of months and I've already had my first $100 day and shortly after my first $300 day. If you get a chance to work with Igor, you should take it. Brian says, in the last 3 days alone, I've made over $350, not too shabby. And Anthony says, I made $40,000 over and above of my job income. And the amazing part is I still attended every rugby practice sessions for both of my sons. He's a very devoted father. Emilis, or as I like to call him, Emka, he went on to build 10, 20, and then $30,000 per month income. He actually then took that money and he ended up starting a different business. So if you've got a different dream that you want to pursue, but you need the funding, actually this strategy can provide you with the funding you need to go get that dream started. Now, Justin here has an amazing story. He came to me with a little bit of capital because he sold some either small business or something, or maybe inherited the money, and a little bit of credit, but no income and no prospects. He actually had to take a waiting job, waiting tables, while he was building his e-brokering business. But look at this. After 3 months, he started making $8,000 per month. And it's been 6 months since I've known Igor, and last month I cleared $15,000 per month. Not revenue, profit. He went from zero to $15,000 in profit per month in just 6 months. Now show me a job when you can get a raise like that. Not a job like that exists. Okay? Elena says, we tried some things online before, like binary options, but just lost money. Then we heard about you and started reading about you and decided to contact you for help. This month, we've already made $7,000. This is amazing. Now, Elena was actually doing this while going to school, studying to become a nurse, and having a kid as well. She was doing this together with her husband. Eugene says, before meeting Igor, I tried everything to make money online. Poker, although poker is hardly a business strategy, Forex, SEO, you name it. I tried it. Today, I've got a business that's capable of supporting me. This month, I cleared 5 figures already, and it's only been half a month. This feeling of freedom and possibility is amazing. I wish everyone could experience this. He actually ended up moving to Andorra, a tiny little country next to Spain, where people go skiing. Jason here says, joining Igor is undoubtedly the best decision I've ever made. Yesterday, I smashed through my first $100 day. And James here says, getting coaching from Igor allowed me to move from Connecticut to Florida. I've seen it's been the best decision I've ever made. A couple of weeks ago, I had a $970 day. This man literally saved my life. I really think the saved my life part is a little bit of an exaggeration, but otherwise pretty accurate. Ahmed from Egypt says, since Igor is a trusted guy in the industry, I decided to join him. It was the best decision I've made for my online business and probably in my life. I am now making money every day. Jason here, a truck driver, says, Igor is my #1 mentor who has helped me scale up to $1,000 on a weekly basis. The best decision I ever made in my internet marketing business is working and learning from him. And another Igor, this final case study I wanted to share with you, and this definitely not the final, like as in the other case studies don't exist. It's just the ones that I decided to show you on this training. So Igor here is from Croatia, and he says that before meeting me, he was making money, but it wasn't white hat. So he was doing like shady stuff to make money. So he couldn't really sleep at night, right? He was worried about his income being, not from legitimate sources and being taken away at any moment. So then he decided to invest the time to build something reliable, something stable. And within just 6 weeks of joining my program, he's on track to $3,000 this month. He says it's impossible to put in words what you can find when you work with this guy. Okay. Now, unfortunately, our time is running out and we have to wrap up this training in just a little bit. I'm going to scan the chat one more time to see if I missed anyone's questions or if there's anyone who I need to welcome. If you guys joined while I was talking, while I was sharing all the case studies, please post in the chat so I can welcome you. I am pretty sure we're over 20 people who joined already, so we still have a few spots for the fast action bonuses. I want to remind you that I've put together a fast action bonus package that is absolutely unmatched to encourage you to take on the ready, fire, aim mentality because it's required for success. All the people I know who are successful have that mentality, and it's critical that you have it too. If you want to build a royalty-driven income, then you need to jump right now. Okay, the fast action bonuses are available only to the first 30 people. And the bonuses are priority support, lifetime updates, premium royalty programs Rolodex, so you can make more money promoting proven high-end programs, e-automation quick start that shows you the meat and potatoes on how to use e-automation to scale your income, the fill-in-the-blanks e-letters, the passive income machine training, the e-learner rent database, Rolodex, the e-brokering profits multiplier site, the e-learning campaign in the box training, the 7 swipe ready campaigns, my best campaigns, and the Dumpy e-brokering system foundation worth $4,000 in value. All this is yours if you're in the first 30 people to enroll in this program as a bonus, okay, without you having to pay anything extra. All you need to do is go to igor.top/ebroker and join now, or you can click on the link in the chat. The same link is in the chat waiting for you right now. So you can just click on it, head over to the order form, fill out your details, and enroll in the system that has already changed so many lives. And for just $9.97 or a 3-pay option, it's nothing compared to what you could be earning with your own royalty-driven business. We've made every move to help you become successful. When you step inside, you'll see it for yourself. So go to igor.top/ebroker and join the program. It will be the smartest thing you've done this year. I promise you. Okay? So I don't see any further questions in the chat. With that, I will say goodbye to you guys, and thank you for being here today with me, and thank you for listening.
Igor, I have to say, what you just shared with everybody is amazing and absolutely incredible. I mean, the amount of knowledge, the real world examples, and the actual income screenshots, this is pure gold. And like you shared, the $185 billion industry that most people don't even know about, the way you broke down e-brokering, showing people how they can earn royalties without creating products, without selling, is super, super cool. And what really impressed me is how generous you are with your knowledge today. I mean, you've given to our community something special, a roadmap to escape the rat race and build real lasting wealth through e-brokering. Now, for everyone who's been listening today, I want you to take a moment and think about what Igor just shared with you. I mean, this is a legitimate business model that's already creating successful people online, quietly, behind the scenes, while most people are trading hours for dollars. Now, as Igor mentioned, the e-brokering challenge, I want to talk to you about it for a moment because this is your opportunity to take everything that you've learned and actually implement it, right? And here's what makes the challenge different than anything else out there. Number one, it's a proven model. Igor didn't stumble into success. He figured out how to build a business that generates hundreds of thousands in royalty income, and he's refined this process over years of testing and optimization. Second, it's designed for complete beginners. You don't need experience. You don't need tech skills. You don't need a huge budget. If you can forward an email, and Igor wasn't kidding about that, then you can do this. And third, it's recession-proof. While other businesses are struggling when the economy gets tough, the e-learning industry keeps on growing. So, guys, let me ask you this. How long are you going to stay trapped in the cycle that kept you being stuck where you are right now? How many more years are you going to wake up and stay where you are? how much more time are you going to waste, right? And here's the truth, right? Time is something you never get back. And so that's why, Igor showed you people like Bill from New Jersey, who was drowning in student loans and working a job he couldn't afford to quit, was able to manage and build $3,000 to $6,000 in passive income monthly. And Anthony from Wales made $40,000 in a single month without ever missing his son's rugby practice. These aren't special people. They're not geniuses. They're not lucky. They simply figured out a way to decide and make a decision to stop accepting mediocrity and just make something better. And that's what this challenge is all about, basically. It's all about learning this model, right? It's about reclaiming your life too. It's about having the financial freedom to say yes to things that matter. It's about building a legacy for your family instead of just surviving month to month. I mean, think about that, guys, right? But here's what I need you to understand, guys. This opportunity is not going to wait for you, right? You need to put the work in, you need to make it happen, and make the choice to do this, right? So choice number one is you can jump in by going to the link you see on your screen there, links in the chat, and jump into Igor's system, or don't, right? Because either way, you'll be making a decision. You'll be making a decision to go forward and have success, or you're making a decision to stay where you are, okay? So you don't want to wait 6 months from now and be where you are right now. You can just do something different, right? So I definitely recommend jumping in as well, guys. That link is there on your screen. Links in the chat to jump in. And this is going to be awesome for you guys. So if you guys are ready to get going, guys, let me know in the chat if you guys are ready to jump in. Just go ahead and jump in by going to that link you see on the screen, a link that's in the chat. And don't miss this opportunity, guys, because like I said, Igor showed you how to do it with the e-brokering challenge so you can be successful with everything he taught today. So go to that link you see there on your screen. Make sure you guys dive in. Don't miss out on this opportunity, guys. We're going to go ahead and wrap things up now, but I want to thank Igor for being on here. I want to thank you guys for being on here as well. I hope you have a great rest of your day, guys, and we'll talk to you soon.